Welcome to Lancashire Business Stories, the podcast that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm your host, Paul Lim, and every week we're joined by local business owners to talk about their journey into business and how they've grown and scaled their own organisations. We'll talk about some of the challenges they've faced along the way and the successes that they've had in growing their businesses, so you, our listeners and viewers, can learn and apply those same principles into your own business, so you can grow and succeed. If this is the first time that you've watched or listened to the podcast, please hit the subscribe or follow button. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let's get to it. Michael Huckerby, welcome to Lancashire Business Stories.
Thanks for having me.
You are more than welcome. We always start off just by talking a little bit about the business that you're in, but the main reason we're here is to find out about you and your journey from when you left education to becoming a business owner and the challenges and successes that you've had as a business owner through that time, in the hope that we can help some of our viewers and listeners with some hints and tips to help them grow their own businesses. But let's start off talking about the businesses that you do own. So where are they, what do they do? And we'll talk about how we can find them right at the end.
Okay. So we've got 2 hotels. One of them is in Padiham, and that is a multi-award winning townhouse boutique hotel. Does weddings up to about 70, 80 people. Busy all the time, and then we've had that since 2018.
The Lawrence?
The Lawrence in Padiham. And then about 2 years ago, we took over the Whitehall Hotel in Darwen, and we've renovated that, and now that can do weddings up to 200 people. We've got an on-site distillery where we make our own gin, we make our own vodka. There's a restaurant, meeting spaces, and then a new wellness area that we're creating at the minute as well.
And that's now called?
So that's called Springbank Manor.
Springbank Manor.
And the wellness area is going to be called the Woods Wellness.
Brilliant. So let's find out about Michael Huckerby then. How did you go off from leaving school to owning 2 hotels and a distillery?
I went to Walton Liddell High School, and all my friends went to Runshaw College.
Yeah.
And I decided I was going to go to Blackburn College to do catering. And after about a year of being at the catering college, the tutor sat me down and said, "You think you know better than the tutors that are here? I don't think there's a place for you in catering.
Oh dear.
So we think it's best if you left the college."
Oh dear. Did you agree with them at the time?
I think that was probably the only thing I agreed with them about. Yeah. So I left. I've been working in hospitality since I was 13 years old. I used to wash pots at the Pines Hotel in Chorley. Phenomenal place. It's obviously not there anymore. But I just thought, this is magical that people come here to have a good time. It was a building that was built for people to laugh and enjoy and celebrate. And I was like, wow, this is magical. It's like an adult fun house. And then I was at the Tickle Trout.
Yep.
Spent many years at the Tickle Trout.
Been there many times.
Pack Horse, which used to be here in Bolton, in the town centre. That was part of McDonald's. Lancashire Village.
Oh, the Pack Horse on Nelson Square?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've stayed there as well, strangely.
So, Lancashire Village was part of our group. House. Albrighton Hall, all for McDonald's. Duncan House, all for McDonald's hotels, which were an amazing group to work for because they had a 0 kind of waste policy. They wouldn't spend any money on anything that wasn't really necessary. And it was only years later I realised they didn't own the hotels.
Yeah.
They just managed the hotels.
Yeah.
So they weren't interested in investing unless they really had to invest.
Yeah, hotels can be really complex sort of structures because you can have one person or a group that own the building and the structure. Then you have a management company, and then you can have another brand that are either a franchise brand or whatever.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out who's doing what to who with what for how much can be quite complex in the hotel
One
industry,
of my pet hates is when people talk about Best Western hotels.
Yeah.
And they say, I go to that hotel because it's the Best Western. And so therefore, I like the group. Best Western is just a badge that you slap on.
Yeah.
Best Western don't own a single hotel. So it's great in a marketing consortium way, but people perceive that they're getting something because it's got a name attached to it.
Yeah.
When really they're just independent hotels that are trying to have a collective bargaining power.
Yeah, I can see that. So you went through the various routes of working in different establishments?
Yeah. So I think the pinnacle of my career, hospitality-wise, was I was at the Victorian Albert, the Meridian Hotel in Manchester. I was one of the youngest restaurant managers in the group. And I remember knowing that I'd made it because he sent me to a tailor to get a suit.
Oh, wow.
It was a off-the-shelf suit, but they
Yeah.
tailored the suit to me. And I thought, this feels really special. Yeah. And I stayed there for a while, and then I thought I didn't want to work in hospitality anymore.
What brought that on?
I think it's just the weekend, constant weekends, constant late nights. So I went to be a recruitment consultant for hospitality, but not working weekends. That was brilliant. Absolutely loved it, but then got really bored of it. It didn't give me that thing that hospitality gave. I wasn't ready to go back to hospitality. So my friend worked for a magazine, it was launching a magazine, and they needed somebody that could sell advertising. My parents had a shop when I grew up, and they said at the age of 7 or 8, I sold my first thing. Someone came in for some toast, and I said to them, are you going to have jam sandwiches? I love jam sandwiches. And the woman said, I wasn't, but I will now. So apparently I can sell anything to anybody. That's what my mum always says. So I started selling advertising. It was in a gay lifestyle magazine, and the only thing that I knew that I could convert really well was property. It was the early 2000s. There was a lot of property. They had MEN, and then they had nowhere else to advertise. So that got me thinking, why don't we have a property magazine? Why don't we launch a property magazine? So we started to launch a property magazine, me and my friend. At the same time, I'd been looking for a bar restaurant to open myself, and then I found this amazing spot in the Northern Quarter that had gone bankrupt. And I thought, yeah, I'll do both. Let's do both at the same time, which now, like, having to do more than 2 things in a day stresses me out sometimes. Imagine. So it would be really challenging, but I'd really love it. And I was 23. So we launched a property magazine, we launched a restaurant in the same couple of months. Yeah. And the restaurant lasted for 12 years. We sold that to someone else. Yeah. And the magazine lasted till 2008, the property crisis. That was 7 years. Interestingly, I made more out of the magazine than I have made out of the restaurant. And the property portfolio I have now was down to the connections I made with the developers. So I was getting mates rates on flats, which was 10%. Yeah. One of the flats I bought was 300 grand, so 30 grand off. Like it was, back in 2004, 2005, people were making up prices for these apartments anyway. I've got a two bed, two bath. Okay, we sold those ones at 200 last week. Yeah. So let's try 240 this week. And then in a couple of weeks, let's try 280. So it was the golden days. Yeah. People were advertising in our magazine. Our restaurant had an outside catering arm. We catered for the launches. Yeah. So I became the developer's go-to person for editorial, advertorial, advertising, food, launch parties. Yeah. And in sync, they helped me to get on the property ladder, and that's that money that I earned through property helped me then to get into hotels. Yeah, yeah. So in the end, we had 3 magazines. We had a gay lifestyle magazine. We had one for Leeds, one for Manchester. We had 3 restaurants. One was a pop-up, and then one was down in Chapel Walks in Manchester. Yeah. 2012, 2013, all that came to an end. I'd been working with a guy who owned a design agency. We did little bits of work for hairdressers and plumbers, but you started to kind of get into the bigger stuff, and he was doing a little bit with Universal Music, and he didn't really understand the business side, but he was great at design. So he asked me if I'd come on board and help him. Fast forward 5 years, Peter Kay, Man United, Asics, Under Armour, Manchester Airport, doing amazingly. I went over and opened our American office, Miami Dolphins, We Buy Any Car USA, the City of New York. We just was doing these amazing, Orlando Airport, doing amazing things. Yeah. And I was miserable. I earned a lot of money, but I was miserable. It wasn't, I realised that it was building it that was exciting, not servicing it that was exciting. Yep. So I'd been really lucky over there. I'd moved over there in 2014. I'd bought the house and moved over there in 2016. So in 2014, the property market over there had still not really recovered massively. So we bought our house for $200,000. The equivalent back then of about £140,000. By the time we moved into it, by the time we left Florida to come back to the UK, that house was $640,000. Wow. So there was my equity to put into a hotel as well.
Yeah.
So without that move there, I don't know if I ever really would have had.
Yeah.
Would have to sell a lot of my portfolio, whereas one transaction, that was the deposit.
I feel like there's a whole different podcast to talk about the property market and getting into property and property investment and stuff like that. And we could probably, I've got 1,001 questions about that we could probably talk
definitely,
about forever.
Yeah. Right now, for me, I can't wait to get out of the property market quick enough. I just feel like this market's been strangled.
Yeah.
It's not a great time to be a landlord. I don't like being a landlord. I think the expectations of tenants is really high.
Yeah.
I think I had a call the other week, can you come and change a light bulb? And I'm like,
how many landlords does it take to change a light bulb?
Yeah.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
So we made the offer on the Lawrence, and that's how we got into hotels.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think there's probably another podcast in there about buying businesses to build as well. And there's a lot of businesses up for sale for different reasons, because people have taken their foot off the gas. So there's because it's the generation from just post-war who are coming up to retirement and don't have natural succession in place.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot to talk about there as well. Definitely. But let's talk about you and your hotels. So what made you want to buy in Padiham?
So originally I'd put an offer in on an old music school in Hotelier. So I'd left America because Donald Trump had got in.
Yeah.
But there was other reasons as well, but that was the final straw, and I just thought the world's gone
mad.
And I thought, let's go home where normality resides. And then Brexit happened. North Wales was the biggest recipient of European funding than anywhere else. The only European highway that wasn't a motorway was a road that goes from Cheshire to North Wales.
Yeah, 56?
I think so.
55.
One of those. You can't get more traffic down that road on a hot day or out of it. What is in there, what is in Abersock, what is in Pwllheli, what is in Llandudno, it's there. You can't get any more down that pipe. No. That pipe needs to get bigger.
Yeah.
Cardiff will not pay for that pipe to get bigger. Westminster will not pay for that pipe to get bigger. And it really hit me on the news. There was a woman that was interviewed from Pwllheli, and she said, what has Europe ever done for us? And he said, the college they funded and the internet they paid for, the upgrade on the internet, and the tidal defence system was paid for by Europe. And she said, we're not bothered. And I said, I'm out. I don't. Yeah. How can Pwllheli ever get better when there's devolution to Cardiff? Cardiff aren't bothered about North Wales. No. Europe were bothered about North Wales, and I don't agree that Europe was perfect in any way at all, and that's probably another podcast, but I think that the only chance of North Wales ever getting a fair shot of money was from Europe.
Yeah.
So I pulled out, went for lunch, took a wrong turn, was supposed to go straight onto the motorway, took a left turn, and went through this village. Obviously, I'm like a Monopoly collector, so there was a little house for sale, and I thought, right, I'll just see how much that is. And it wasn't a house, it was a hotel. Looks like a tiny little house. They'd never kept a credit card, never kept any books, and never took a credit card.
Amazing.
So they couldn't sell it as a business.
No.
They could just sell it as a house. Well, I was brilliant at buying houses.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in Padiham. Wow. And weirdly, I thought I've never been here before. When I told my mum, she said, your dad used to deliver down to Baxi to sit on the wall and wait for the truck to get loaded. And the wall is still there from the mill. The mill's not there anymore. The wall's still there. And I don't remember it all, but it's quite cute to think that my dad was... Me and my dad have got... my dad died 20 years ago. I've got memories there with my dad. And obviously the Lawrence is named after my dad.
Yeah.
So it's quite cute.
Brilliant. Just as a complete aside, I come from Accrington originally. My very first driving lesson, I drove through Padiham.
Oh.
So I can still remember, I was 17, it was 1981. So a long time ago now. I'm older than I look. And I remember driving up through Padiham on my very first driving lesson.
Yeah.
Scary, but yeah. It's funny how you remember different things, isn't it?
Things, yeah. And it's amazing. It's probably the people in Padiham. I've lived all over the world. And probably the people in Padiham are the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, my older brother lived in Padiham before he passed away. But yeah, nice place.
Yeah.
Something possessed you to buy a hotel. You bought a house.
I'd worked in hotels.
Yeah.
I'd worked in hotels and I thought they were magical places. And I decided that I was 42.
Yeah.
and I wanted to take things a bit slower. So I thought, I'll buy this building and I'll have
Buy a hotel to slow down.
I'll have it as a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, that lasted probably about 6 months. And then I thought, okay, we'll just do food on a Friday, Saturday night. So we'll just have a little restaurant.
Yeah.
Which then led to, let's build a function room. Which then led to, let's do afternoon tea. Let's open for Sunday lunch. My ex-husband used to say, I used to say to him, when I retire, I just want to bake cakes. And he said, you won't bake cakes. He said, you'll bake cakes, you'll open a cake shop, you'll enter cake awards, you'll try and get your cakes in supermarkets. And it's true, I can't do things by halves.
No, it sounds like that.
And now the Lawrence is a full service. We have conferences there, we have murder mysteries, comedy nights, drag queen bingo, sip and paint events. There's so much going on there all the time that it is a full-fledged hotel. Yeah. Realistically, in a building that was only ever supposed to be not an Airbnb, a B&B.
Yeah. Amazing. So that was after Brexit,
2018. 2018 is when I bought the building in 2017.
Yeah.
What was Brexit, 2016?
Yeah, possibly. I can't remember now. It seems like a lifetime ago now. It was 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. So 2018 is when we opened. We opened with 4 rooms and then we expanded. And now we own the buildings next door as well, so we can sleep 52 people.
So we've been through quite a lot of turmoil since 2018.
Yeah.
I know it's more recent that you bought your second hotel, but just talk about some of the, obviously, the impacts of things like COVID and stuff like that on you particularly and on the wider hospitality industry.
So in the 1980s, my parents owned a supermarket. And it was before really the big guys were the big players. So we had a cheese counter and a meat counter. And I remember being a kid, and our garden might not have been big, but I remember running down our back garden. And in the recession in the 80s, we lost it all. And we ended up in a council house. There was no jobs locally where we were from in Yorkshire. We had to come to Lancashire. And I remember being in my backyard of this council house, and I couldn't even kick a ball in it. It was that small.
Wow.
And I remember we couldn't have pop, and we could only afford a cordial. Yeah. So that brought me into my life with a fear of losing. So I would stash money away in bank accounts that I forget about. I'd constantly look for how I was going to lose my business.
Yeah.
What could I see? So in 2008, I spent a lot of time in the States. I had a house in America, which I bought in 2006. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in America. So I saw what was coming in 2008, which really hit. It hit in 2007, 2008 in the US, affected us in 2008, 2009. So we weathered the financial storm of that period better than most of our competitors because we reduced all our costs, we sharpened our brand, we invested in training our staff. I saw where I lived, they stopped painting things. And in Florida, the sun bleaches things. And I felt things starting to get really tired. Yeah. On a real side note story, one of the most heartbreaking things that happened in that whole period was I was downtown and a lady asked me for some money. And I recognised her, and she was homeless. And she was a lady that I'd set up my bank account with. She worked at the bank, and she was homeless because they'd laid everybody off. There is no thing as benefits over there. No. You get a week per year for every year that you work in unemployment. And she was homeless, and her family lived in Michigan. And so that really made me think, geez, the country, the UK isn't brilliant, but at least if you work in a bank, you're probably never going to be homeless, hopefully. So I'd been brought up with this fear of losing things. And then COVID happened. And I just thought, I never saw this. This is how I lose it all. This is it. This is history repeating itself. My parents didn't see that recession coming to wipe out our business. And I didn't see this. And this is how I lose it all. So we shuttered everything for a week, 2 weeks maybe. And then the phone call came, which was, we are the company that have the vans that transport the medicine from one place to another. We're the refrigeration specialists. We need our guys to be able to stay somewhere because the heat is making them not work. can you do that? Can you do that safely? Yeah, okay, yeah. So they would come to the front window, and the door was there, and we'd pass key through that, and then they'd go up into the room. And then it was, I'm a nurse coming from Cambridge to come and help at the hospital. Can you accommodate us? Everywhere else was shut.
Yeah.
The big hotels, they couldn't open just for 2 or 3 people.
No.
So their blanket thing was to shut.
Yeah.
We were small enough and flexible enough, and I lived on site for us to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So we actually made, in that whole year, we made £1,000 profit that year.
Wow.
I know friends of mine that have got hotels, I know they lost 100 grand.
Yeah.
So I feel really fortunate that there was an opportunity for us, and we didn't price gouge. We actually did it cheap, and we support community. Yeah. The most heartwarming thing of COVID, and there was a lot of, we live in an area where there's a lot of old people.
Yeah.
A quarter of those people sadly died. But the heartwarming thing was when we opened a shop in one of our function rooms.
Yeah.
To help the vulnerable people so they didn't have to go to the supermarket. Loads of people turned up to support that shop, and I said to them, that's really nice, but this is a not-for-profit. So by you coming and supporting me means I now have to go to the wholesalers and buy more, so please support me in a different way.
Yeah.
So that was really nice, but then when we reopened, there was literally a queue of people waiting to come back to the restaurant and come back and thank people for what we did during it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We took food around to people's houses. All those old people had families, so they were ringing us and saying, I've not seen my mum in 6 months, I'm worried about her, can you take her through a meal and can you check on her and let me know she's okay? Yeah. It was a bizarre situation. You'd knock on the door and they'd say it's open. You'd open the door, you'd put the food down, and then you'd back away. And we were sometimes the only people that they were seeing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my partner Mandy did exactly the same thing. She was working in a hospitality venue over in Huddersfield called Stores Hall. They made her redundant during COVID, closed the whole place down.
Wow.
And she came back. She lived in Altrincham, Timperley. Put her name down on the register to help people, and there was a lady around the corner who was quite agoraphobic anyway, had various health issues, and just wouldn't go out of the house. And when we first met her, it was exactly the same. She'd open the door, clink, shove the shopping bags through the door, shut the door, and she'd go and do her shopping for her. Yeah. And then we'd start doing other bits and pieces. And eventually, as COVID eased and she became more confident, we got to know her, and now she's one of her best friends. And she looks after our dog during the day for us as well,
really nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Because she's on her own and she loves having the dog there as well. So it's formed a brand new friendship. I'm a great believer in you get what you give. So you know, the more abundant you are and the more you give without expectation, the more likely you are that the universe is going to find a way to pay you back.
Yeah. I like to believe that. I think it's hard sometimes when you'll give a lot. We were just talking about this in work recently, but especially with staff, if you can give a lot and then when they don't give it back, it's hard sometimes not to just pull back and go, I'm just going to look after myself. And I don't think I ever could be that person, but there's moments when you think, I really try and support the team that work there.
Yeah.
And not everybody, I don't think everybody believes in that philosophy of kind of, you get what you give with it.
Yeah, and I think in different areas, whatever business you're in, for me, the foundation of every business is your values and the culture of the organisation. And when companies recruit based on that culture and gather a group of people who believe in the same thing, it's really powerful. And quite often you find that the people who aren't aligned with that somehow manage to manage themselves out of the business relatively soon because they realise they just don't fit in.
I think
and
they feel alienated, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And we'll come back to talk about culture and sort of hospitality in a little while, but talk us through how then after COVID you ended up buying another hotel.
Yeah, so I'd said after COVID, if we get through this, I'll buy myself a Range Rover because I'd always wanted one. And I got the Range Rover and absolutely loved it. I still got a Range Rover now. And every day I get into it, I think this is because she survived. And it's a nice visual representation of that. I'd stumbled across an amazing hotel in Todmorden. Had my heart set on it. Massive. No roof. It needed... Bit of a project. It needed $1 million to get me first phase, 2 million at least for the whole thing, and then 1.5 million to buy it as well. If I would have bought that, I didn't factor in the interest rates going up, I'd have been bankrupt. I'd have lost it all.
Wow.
So there was something that told me not to do it.
Yeah.
I was so dead set on doing it.
Yeah.
My dad, all the men in my family before me have died at the age of 50. And my dad lasted till 65. So there's been this element in my head of time's ticking on. If you're going to do it, you need to do it now. So that's what kind of made me think, let's have a look around and let's see what's about. Because I've got 3 nieces and nephews. And next weekend I'm taking them all away on holiday with their parents who are my nieces and nephews. These are my great nieces and nephews. Yeah. I want to do more of that as I get older. I want to do what I love, and I love that, but I also love doing that with them as well. So I ended up buying this because I didn't want to be 60 and buying, and I might end up being 60 and buying another one, I don't know. But I just thought, if not now, when? And the right opportunity came along, I think. So far, so good.
When did you buy what was the Whitehall?
August 2024.
And what have you done at it since? I don't know. You don't have to share how much you've invested in it, but I know you've done quite a lot of work there.
The bricks of the building are still the same.
Yeah.
Apart from around the back where we've knocked it down and rebuilt it. The old staircase, the 125-year-old staircase, is still the same. The rest is new, really. It's just, we've gutted it.
Yeah.
The function room is the main thing. The function room, we took it down and rebuilt it, but rebuilt it in a way that it had some windows in it, but it didn't show off these beautiful 200-year-old trees that are out there and the lawn and everything. So everything we did was directed at that beautiful scenery that's out there.
Yeah. And the distillery is still out the back of it.
Distillery's at the back, but now the room's been redesigned, so it's all along one wall at the back.
Yep.
It's got exactly all the same equipment, but it means that space can be used on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not just a Friday, Saturday. Yeah. So some of the smaller, intimate weddings are in there. Yeah. Some of the conferences are in there. It's a great space down there. It's very private. It's got its own toilets down there. There's a kitchen down there. So it works really well for private, intimate functions and events.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got bedrooms there. You've got a restaurant there that's open.
Restaurant, the parlour, private dining room, courtyard. Then we've got the main function room, and then we've got the smaller function room. Yeah, it's quite a busy thing. And then now the wellness, which is something that I'm really passionate about, is contrast therapy, which is 10, 15 minutes in a sauna, 3 or 5 minutes in a cold plunge, back and forward. Great for mental health, great for inflammation in the body, great for cardiovascular, great for helping with blood sugar levels. There's nothing that it's not great for. So I do that twice a week in Hebden Bridge at the minute. And I'll probably still do it in Hebden Bridge because the more I'm getting to the stage of finishing this, I think, I don't know if I'm going to want to sit in my own one. And if they start saying, oh, one of the TV channels didn't work on my TV, then I'll just be like, oh, I need to get out of here and fix that. So I think I'll still keep going to Hebden Bridge. And what I might do is do a couple of sessions a week privately when everybody's gone to bed. I might kind of do a bit of a private sessions. Yeah. But I love it. So it's going to have jacuzzi, cold plunge, treatment rooms, outdoor fire pit, relaxation area. Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. That's going to be open in October 31st.
So not far off?
No.
Not far off at all?
No. And this is a year that I said I wasn't going to do any big projects as well.
So how hands-on are you with the 2 hotels now? Because you mentioned that obviously if you were sat in the sauna and somebody rang and said they got a problem, you'd be first out. But
I think I'm a recovering control freak.
Yeah.
So you've got to trust the people that you pay to do the job. So I don't work weekends unless it's something really big on. I find that if there's a wedding on, they don't want me there because I'll be like, should we talk about the storeroom upstairs or should we talk about staff training? And they're like, we have 100 people here for a wedding. This is not the time. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So, and if I work a wedding, I think I just get in the way of what they're doing. Yeah. So there's no real point in me working weddings or being around, so I try not to work weekends. But I'm involved a lot, definitely. Like I really care about what happens there. And if we get a bad review, we can't please everybody all the time, but if we get a bad review, it hurts. And I always say to them, if it's said once, you can think, okay, that's their opinion. If it's said twice, we really need to listen. If it's said 3 times, we need to change.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just it.
So what do you think the keys are then to running a profitable and growing hospitality business nowadays?
Listen and adapt. The restaurant that I opened in the Northern Quarter wasn't ever a restaurant. I opened it as a restaurant, and the lights were on bright, people didn't come in. Turned down the lights, turned up the music, people came in as a bar. The Lawrence was a bed and breakfast. People wanted food, I gave them food. People wanted to have dinner parties there and functions there. I built a function room. I listened, I adapted. With a magazine, I listened and I adapted. I listened to what the market was saying, and the market was saying property's it's gone, so close it.
Yeah.
Different events, whether or not we're finding now as well that people will book the more expensive events more than they'll book the cheaper events, because people have got money for an experience rather than a night out. So Traitors, we're using external companies to come in and produce it. Our profit margin's not massive on the Traitors event at all, but it's £60 a head. So that is more or less sold out.
Yeah.
People will come if they're experiencing something.
Yeah. And have you got any stats on the people who come to those one-off events who come back again afterwards?
Yeah. So a lot of people that will come to those events will also book hotel stays.
Yep.
So they come from away. So it's a big ask for them to come back. But local-wise, you're probably looking about 10% of them that are repeat. So they'll come to Murder Mystery or Fawlty Towers or Christmas or Willy Wonka Crafting Tea. So they've become fans of the brand, which is great. The other hotel, there's people that have been coming from day one that still come now, which I think is amazing. When I see them, that makes me feel like I've done a good job.
Yeah.
The figure at the end of the month on the profit and loss, that's a good to know. Whereas seeing them come, sat in the lounge, having a drink, having afternoon tea, that's a nice to know.
Yeah. I think you've got to build raving fans out of your clients who are going to come back again, and then the money will flow afterwards, as long as you're doing the business bits right.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. I keep harking on about me and Mandy, but we've been to a number of different places that we would never ever have thought to go to the first time. One was a Fawlty Towers experience.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, the venue itself didn't cover itself in the actors, and the actual experience bit of it was brilliant. The venue didn't cover himself with glory. But we've also been to a murder mystery evening and gone, we're definitely going back there because it was just so good, and the service was brilliant, the atmosphere, the venue itself, everything was brilliant. So I think it depends on not just the event itself, but the service that you get as a result of it while you're there.
There was a friend of mine the other day said something online, and she said, I've come back to this place, and she said, and it's absolutely unbelievable, she said, and I've broken my golden rule of never going to the same place twice. And I thought, I think I have that rule myself, which is I want to constantly be experiencing something good. So even if it's been good, doesn't mean it gets the same treatment as if it was bad in a lot of ways, where I'm like, you were so good that I'm not going to go back to you, which is crazy. Like in the old days, if you did a good job, they came back.
Yeah.
And there was a phone call the other day, and they said, can we book in? And I said, I'm really sorry, we've got a wedding at Springbank, but I can fit you over at Lawrence. And she said, oh, we went there last year, it was so amazing, we don't want to go back. And that reminded me of that, and I was like,
what?
Yeah, she was like, we want to experience something new, and we are. I think as a society, we are more like that now. Whereas our parents were kind of like, we go to the same place all the time.
Week in, week out.
You want to experience something new, and that must give you a different kind of endorphin than going to the same place over and over.
I completely agree, because we do the same thing as well, and there's only been 1 or 2 exceptions to that. One is a Michelin 1-star restaurant that we've been to up in the Lake District that we've only been to once so far, but we keep saying we must go back there because it was just out of this world. And the other one was the hotel that we've been to in Crete. And we went once, and Mandy, as a surprise, had bought an upgraded room, which was absolutely amazing. Pool, great view, everything was perfect. The service, food, everything was brilliant. So we booked it again the following year and got exactly the same room.
Oh, wow.
And we're going back in September again this year for the 3rd time in a row. And we're both saying, shouldn't we try somewhere else? Yeah. And then you look around and go, can't find anywhere else that really matches what we got there. It was so bloody good. Yeah. We made a rod for our own back.
And I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Which is, if you really want them to come back now, you have to be exceptional.
Yes.
And that's a lot of pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like, because the other side of it as well is people have got money, but they're not stupid with money. So you can't charge exceptional prices. So with a Traitors event, I'll be really honest, we get about 15 quid out of that for a 2-course dinner. Yeah. It's not a lot of money at all.
Yeah. But then if people are staying over as well, you get room rates. You get the bar spend on it. And it will be, I've seen them do it. It's an exceptional event. Yeah. And that will then help us to position ourselves for our other events as well, which are great. But Traitors I think it's a bit of a one-off. It might go well for the next couple of years, but this year is the kind of the year of. Last year it started to get people. This year I think it's going to get bigger. Yeah. There's a couple of quotes that are amongst my favourites. My clients will tell you I've got many, not attributed to me at all, but one of them is one that was attributed to Einstein, which I don't think he ever said, which is people who do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. His definition of insanity.
Yeah.
And then there's a brilliant executive coach called Marshall Goldsmith who wrote a book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And that's about people sitting back on their laurels and going, well, we've always done it this way, or this is the way, well, we've done it to get to where we are, and why can't we carry on doing it? And that's not just about the things that you do, but it's about the people that you surround yourself with and the ideas that you take forward. So you've got to keep growing. Businesses are like trees, they're either growing or dying, and if you stand still, you're going to be going backwards, aren't you?
Yeah, so, definitely.
Particularly in your sector, as the rest of the hospitality trade either changes and grows or goes by the wayside, as we've seen a lot of them do over the last few years. So I think bringing in different things and doing different things is so important.
Yeah, I agree.
So how do you make raving fans out of your clients then? Apart from obviously doing the obvious of holding different events and doing sort of things, what sort of things are important to you? What are you obsessive about in?
I think internal kind of mantra is make amazing guest experiences. So how are we doing that? We are massively dog friendly. So we train all our staff on how to greet dogs. And the person that I'm thinking of in my head that I saw at the hotel yesterday, that's her 3rd visit this year. And she said, we come here because we feel so welcome. Do they feel welcome? Probably. Their dogs feel welcome. So we look after their dogs, and they look after their dogs. So we love their dogs. They love their dogs. It's not a fad. It's not a marketing thing. We genuinely are massively dog friendly. Yeah. I have a dog. A lot of the managers have dogs. You don't get a lot of nice places that are dog friendly. Or you get some that say, I'm staying at one soon and there's no dogs on the bed. That's not going to happen. She's a baby. She's going to be on the bed.
Yeah. We got a 6-stone dog and then she gets on the bed. Yeah. And you know it when she's on.
Yeah. If I don't know what would happen if I said to her not on the bed, she'd be like, what? Yeah. So I think that's how we do it. And we talk about connecting. So our staff connect. So all our staff tell people that they interact with their names. It's like a basic human thing. And we connect, and we have 3 questions that we ask that are basic connections, which is, have you been before? Are you celebrating anything? How did you hear about us? You don't have to ask all 3, but taking an interest in people. I always remember this basic human need. Is it the right to water, shelter?
This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You start off with survival, basically.
And there's the other one, which is the need to feel important.
Yeah.
And that's the one that we don't get met. And I think asking people questions is the direct way to make them feel important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why not? They are bringing their money into our business to pay our wages.
Yeah.
Well, why not ask them if the questions, because they are important. Because without them, there is no business.
I've never a truer word spoken. But for me, sales, you talked about being able to sell anything to anybody. I never thought that I was a natural salesperson. My first job was at the Lancashire Telegraph, printing I helped build the M65 motorway, first of all.
Wow.
Shows how old I am. And then I went to work for the Lancashire Telegraph, printing the posters that went outside newsagents.
Oh, yeah.
And then for some reason, they made me a trainee sales rep.
Right.
And then a rep, then a senior rep, then canvassing manager. And all of a sudden I was selling stuff to people. And then I figured out that there's no secret sort of gift of the gab. It's just about being able to talk to people.
Yeah.
Being able to hold a conversation. But the most important thing for me, and the thing that I always say to people when we're doing sales training, is to be curious. If you can be curious about somebody and they feel like you're interested in them, then it can take you such a long way.
Yeah.
There are certain skills and frameworks you can follow to make it more likely that something will come of it in the end. But the inane human curiosity, I think, is the most important thing for me.
I agree with it as well, yeah.
So what does the future look like for the
Huckerby Hotels.
The Huckerby Hotels?
So I constantly say not a third one, which must mean there might be a third one.
To the point where you get...
Yeah. I went to see one in Yorkshire 2 Sundays ago.
So that I'm not going to get a third one.
Yeah, I went there to tell myself I'm not going to get a third one.
That's like going to see some puppies and saying I'm not going to buy a puppy.
Yeah, it's stunning. It's stunning. It's an old Victorian building. It's got its own tennis courts. It just looks out onto the valley. I'm not done with Springbank yet, and if I start a new one, it'll take my focus away. The Lawrence dipped when I left there, so this would dip as well. I need to build a system in place that keeps them both afloat before I even consider a third one.
And do you have a GM in place at each one? Do you have a general manager in each one?
So the structure allows for a general manager and hotel manager in both, and then a operations manager above the two.
Okay.
Our operations manager at the minute has been off, and that's really brought it home to me. Without an operations manager, two is enough. So I think I have to build if I want a third, I have to build more of a structure around support and how that works.
Yeah.
I'm 50. I don't want to be doing them when I'm really old. But I always thought 50 was really old. So I don't know.
So did I when I was 30.
Yeah.
But I'm 62 now.
It's crazy.
I am really old.
It really is. A friend of mine's just started dating somebody, and she said, he's a bit older, he's 60. And I said, oh my God. And she went, 10 years older than you. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's shocking more, but it's true. So the plan is to get them both to where I want them to be. Yeah. The Lawrence is great, nearly 10 years, needs a bit of love now again. Yeah. We're going to extend it, rejig it round a bit, redo the roof terrace. The wellness area is something I'm really passionate about. Seeing where that goes, maybe extending that. I've got more land down the side, maybe to open a wild swimming pool. Have you seen them?
Yes.
It's almost like a lake kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that'd be really quite cool. I don't think there's one of those up here.
It's a growing leisure activity, isn't it? Wild swimming nowadays.
Yeah. So I think that really, and then trying to give myself more balance, which if anybody ever tells you they've found the balance, they're lying, because I just don't think it exists. I think it's a live thing. I think it's like a bar of soap that's just constantly slipping. Do you know what I mean? I think 1 minute you've got it, and the next minute you've not, and yeah.
Unless you're a Tibetan monk.
Yes, yeah, they have balance. Yeah.
And thinking about when you were younger, then before you went into business for yourself, and it might have seemed like it was going to be inevitable, but if you had to go back now and offer yourself some advice as a younger guy or thinking about going into business for yourself and buying a business, what would be the best piece of advice that you could offer yourself, and obviously to anybody else who's thinking about going into business now?
I remember at the time with the restaurant, I thought, what happens if it doesn't work? And I thought, I'll black the windows out. There's a kitchen in there, there's a bathroom in there, and I'll live in it. And I'll have it as my flat. So I always had plan B, but I think if I could whisper in his ear now, I'd tell him, believe in your gut. And I have always, but there has been doubt. And people have actively, friends, partners, family, actively, people have tried to hold me back, definitely. Out of love, people have said, don't do this, it's too much. Don't do this, you'll make yourself ill.
Yeah.
I've always listened to my gut. I'm glad I didn't listen to my gut about Todmorden, though, because this would be a very different podcast. This is how I lost it all with one shit decision.
Yeah. There you go. We don't have to have that one.
No.
We don't have to have that conversation.
Hopefully we never have to have that conversation.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not. And so when you think forwards and you're thinking about business now, obviously we always talk to our clients about needing to grow themselves and grow their team in order to grow the business. Are there any particular books or people you follow, or even other hotels or restaurants that you look up to, or you think there are certain things there that we should be doing or we would love to do?
Yeah. So I'm dyslexic. So reading isn't really... I can do little bits, but I don't enjoy it. I listen to some podcasts. Stephen Bartlett, I find it quite interesting.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but you get the right speaker on, and I quite like that. I admire Soho House Group. I think what they've done is phenomenal. Being able to charge a membership when so many other places can't. So many other places have failed at it. I like what they do. I think they're effortlessly cool in what they do. There is another chain called 25 Hours, which I follow and I love as well. They're a bit more commercial and a bit more corporate. I like following some of the people that are local. Spud Bros.
Don't know that one.
So Preston Market Stall.
Right.
And they've grown with EG garages.
Yeah.
Finch Bakery in Great Harwood.
Yes, heard it.
They obviously went and did the pop-ups. They've got it in Selfridges. So these northern businesses that burst the bubbles and come out of it.
Yeah.
I like following those and listening to them and what they've done.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting that Finch Bakery, at the end of the month, will go through all the figures and be like, we sold this many of these, this many came from the website, this many came from the... And I'm like, this is literally data porn for me. I find it really fascinating knowing... And they even go through to go, and we had our repeat business was 3.7, and I'm like, God, that's amazing. Yeah, data.
Yeah.
And that's
data is king. It's so
something
powerful.
I want to get better at is data and absorbing that data as well.
I often listen. There was a television program or a series. I think it might have been a one-off about different businesses, and I wouldn't say that this brand is particularly one that I go to on a regular basis. But they were talking about Wetherspoons.
Oh yeah.
And they were talking about the things that they do in the kitchen at Wetherspoons. You know, in terms of measuring what goes onto the plates and the amount of waste that they have. And they've got targets to hit in terms of minimising the amount of waste that they have. That means a difference of sort of 0.1% in terms of profit. But when you add it all up,
definitely,
it makes a hell of a difference in
Our
terms of
cheese
where you're
board
going.
is like that. Our cheese board's supposed to be a certain weight for each cheese.
Yeah.
If you double it, that cheese board should cost 24 quid.
Yeah.
So you could wipe out all my profit by not cutting the cheese right.
Yeah.
Which is worrying, isn't it? Yeah. So then you have to trust the people. Because then suddenly I think in my head, have we got signs up saying that in our kitchen? You have to trust the people that are there to make sure that it's being measured right.
Yeah. And do you think if somebody came along and said, here's a failing restaurant, and location wasn't the issue, do you think you could now go, I can turn a restaurant around?
No. Years ago I could. I think if you gave me a failing hotel and location wasn't the problem, I could turn that around.
Yeah.
I don't understand restaurant people anymore. I don't know if I ever did. I understand hotels. I understand weddings. I understand health and leisure.
Yeah.
But restaurant people, it's very influencer-led, I think, now. I will go to the same places that I've always gone to. I'm very big on Sunday roast, being from Yorkshire. I'd have it every day if I could. And then I'll go to Wagamama's. I'm not a big going out kind of person, foodie-wise, but I'm a big going and staying in hotels.
Yeah.
We just stayed in Soho House in Berlin, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
They gave us an upgrade, and our bedroom had a 10-seater dining table in it.
Wow. 2
living areas, a kitchen, a bathroom, and apparently it's where Lady Gaga stayed when she came. So it was like €2,000 a night or something, which is just amazing. And I was like, this is what I've come for. This is my life, yeah. And I would have stayed in that room all weekend and not seen Berlin, because I love being in a hotel. I love the life that it allows you and the convenience and everything. Yeah,
get a great hotel and it's absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? Restaurants are a completely different kettle of fish, I understand that. There is one book that I recommend all my clients read now, which is Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Bidara.
Being dyslexic, I'm on chapter 2 of it, and I've had it for a year. So I should probably see if I can get the audio.
I was going to say, I'm sure it's on Audible.
I know, but I got it to get on the plane, and I was like, I'm going to read this, and I loved it. But yeah, I'd probably need to. And then what I want to do is I want to read it, and then I want to pass it on to my team as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Bear? The TV show The Bear about
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
Okay, so that's what he was reading that in The Bear, and that was about the restaurant where,
Unreasonable Hospitality.
It was a Michelin star restaurant, and these guys came and they'd looked on their social media and they'd realised that they'd saved up for this meal for months and months, and they said, so when they get here, we're going to comp it.
Wow.
And they're like, because that's more powerful than them paying for it.
Yeah.
And it was all, and every diner, they knew everything about these diners, and I was like, wow, that's so amazing, like, to be able to go to that level of caring about it.
Yeah. And I would definitely get the Audible version and listen to that, because it's absolutely stunning. I've listened to more of his stuff on YouTube and some social clips as well, and he talks about the $2 hot dog that they go out and buy this $2 hot dog for. There is a family visiting the restaurant, and one of the kids says, I love a hot dog.
Oh, yes.
He sends one of the guys out, buys a hot dog from a hot dog vendor, brings it back, puts it in the kitchen.
So in The Bear, that's what they do. They didn't get the Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yeah.
So they go out and they get a Chicago deep dish pizza at this Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
And then he chops it out and recreates it. He uses that, and then he says, we went out and got you this. Yeah. So they must have took things out of that book to do that with it,
Yeah, it's amazing, because I'm constantly talking to our clients about how do you elevate your customer experience? How do you take the people who visit you the first time and get them to come back again? Then how do you get the people who come back again and turn them into people who feel like they're members of your club, like VIP members of your club?
Yeah.
And then how do you turn them into advocates? So if somebody says, do you know a good hotel, a good restaurant, they tell you. And then more importantly, how do you turn them into raving fans? So they talk about the experience, even when people don't ask them.
Yeah.
And that, for me, if you can do that, then you're onto a winner with your business.
Yeah. I am literally the raving fan of contrast therapy. I will talk to anybody about it, regardless if they want to hear about it or not. I am at that stage at the minute with it.
Yeah. Tell us, how do we find out about your 2 hotels? Where do we go? How do we get in contact?
So go to huckerbyhotels.co.uk, and there's a link to both of them there as well.
Brilliant. Okay. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed it, Michael. And I've no doubt that we'll talk again at some point in the future. Good. Thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome. Anytime.